Okay, hey guys, so this time we're going to build this little application that is going to send an email using a node mailer, and this client is built with React. Okay, so I got this request for a from a subscriber to build this from scratch. So let's see how this works. So let's say whatever. Right now we don't have any validation, or well, this is just a demo, so you can add other things. Of course, we're going to check if the fields are empty in order to see if we can send something. Okay, so let's pick this PNG, and I think it's not going to work because I set that as JPEG. So let's just go to Unsplash, and instead of changing that, I'm just going to download a JPG, and that should work. So download, let's wait for that. It's not downloading. What the fuck is going on? Well, fuck this shit. Save image as, and let's save it. It's a JPG and save it. So fuck that, and let's say choose files. And you can see that I deleted most of the crap I had there. I have some illustrations that I want to use to in order to create something with Adobe XD. Okay, so let's say JPG. Okay, because I'm accepting only JPG in the server, so forgot about that. So let's open the console. So this is kinda a website that, you know, um, a small business website that you want to receive emails and things like that. So I will try to make all my tutorials to be closer to real world applications. Okay, so you will see how this is implemented. So let's send email. We have this, and you can see I removed the submit. So data email received. This is the ID of the email, and if everything went right, I should be able to go to my Gmail and to what I'm using, that is Mailjet. So let me just, I'm on my other screen right now, so I will see, because this will also depend on the SMTP server and of course Gmail. So we will see if that is actually getting, so I should be receiving a notification. So let's see. Okay, so this was the other one that I sent, so I'm going to delete that, and okay, let's see. If not, I'm going to send another one and see. So you can see that this is my internet is slow. That could be a thing that happens. So since we have an SMTP involved, sometimes it's going to take a while, but this seems more like an internet problem. So I've been having issues with my internet. So let's see. And of course, it could be a problem also with Gmail. So let's try another time now that it's loaded. So here, and we send that F12 to open again the console. We are receiving an object. Okay, so I cannot open this. Okay, well, let's try again. And sorry, I will check the SMTP in a second. I'm using Mailjet, so it could be a internet issue. So I tested this yesterday, and I just finished this yesterday, and everything was working fine. So I wanted to push this as fast as I could into the channel. Well, fuck that shit. So that's not working. So I'm using a Mailjet that is an SMTP. So yeah. So this is free. Okay, you have a free tier, and they give you a 30 days free premium account. So email sent during this, okay, I had 6, now I sent 2, and we have 8. But it seems that Gmail is having the issue. So let me just, okay, we will see this configure, and we will see that in a second. So these are the emails I sent before. So so that's odd. I cannot see. Okay, actually here are the okay, I received something. Okay, temporal error. Okay, your Gmail account is not okay. So that shit happens. So you receive an email. Okay, you can see this active problem or error first post client. Okay, so let's click this one, and you can see this is the image that I sent, an attachment. So the problem description was all this shit, and this is the email that we use to send this. Okay, so you will receive this. This is the problem that a user could have. So that's the title. Okay, you can see the title, the body, and the email, and the file as attachment. Okay, in this case I'm just handling the JPEG, the JPG. So yeah, you can make that more dynamic in order to see what is the type of the file. We will use Molter for that, but in this first part we're going to set all this. Okay, the client, just so we don't have to worry about this. So let's close this, and we will see what you need to do in order to handle the SMTP, because I've seen tutorials that they don't show, they just show how to send the email, but they actually are paying for the SMTP, or they have a share hosting, or a lot of things that they don't want to show, or you know the only thing that I'm not going to show is my credentials, and that's it. You will see how to set an SMTP with a Mailjet. And okay, so let's close this. Let's actually just minimize that. And what I'm going to do is to close this, because you can see that I have the React, okay, and the other one is the server with Node. So I already have this node.mailer2 folder. Inside, I have a client that is a simple React application that I created recently. Okay, you can see the date, and if I open this with code, you will see that we only have so it's inside. It's not public. Sorry, it's in source, and you can see we don't have anything, not even the routing. We're not going to set anything more than just the form and how to send information. So we receive that, and we'll use that in order to send the email. okay? But for that we need an SMTP server, so that is where Mailjet comes into place. So just let me get some things in my other screen, and we will start with this. So I'm going to go to, okay, and I'm going to delete most of the things here. So we will start right away, and I'm going to delete also this. So we're going to build or create a new folder that is components, and even though it's a pretty simple application, I like to set components, okay, not inside the app.js, because that could abstract some few things and I don't want that. So we're going to build the main.js. So let's import a few things. I'm not going to type all this, okay, because this is React. We have seen this before. So it's just a simple form that uses a use state. We are not using a use effect. Now we are not even going to install anything else. We're going to create this constant main that is going to be the component. And now we're going to set a few things. Okay, I'm going to copy and paste all this because this is for the form. Just the constants. Okay, we're going to set all the title, body, email, and problem image to be just an empty string. Okay, you know how this works, so you shouldn't have a problem with this. And now we're going to create a new isBasi, okay, there. And this is only going to handle the removal of the submit while we are sending the email. And once we receive the response from the server, we are going to, we don't mind if it's an error or it's a correct response. We are just going to re-render the submit button and remove the loading or the loader that is going to appear there. So now let's actually build this. That is what we're going to add inside the form. We still don't have our return, so anything is in place. So let's build the send message. We're going to pass an event, and this event that prevent default, so the form doesn't refreshes or doesn't refresh the page. And we're going to set this busy right now to true because we want to show the loader that we still don't have that. And also we are going to hide depending on the state of this is busy in line 9, okay, depending of the state on which this variable or this constant currently is. We're going to remove the submit button for the user not be able to smash the button again to send another email with the same information. So constant message is going to be equals to new form data. We're going to handle form data, okay. So this is how we're going to send the file, because we need to send the file to node.js, and node.js will use Molter in order to handle that file and the other inputs inside the request. So we're going to make a simple thing here. So let me just copy this. This is just to check if problem image, title, body, and email are not an empty string. And now, in order to append to form data, you will see that in order to send a file, we need to send form data. So most of the times, and in most of my tutorials, I'm handling files either with well, Firebase doesn't need to send form data, but for Node.js and Multer you need to send form data in order to handle the image. So we're going to say message to that new form data. We can append whatever we want. So this is going to be the title. That is the title, so we still don't have that. This is going to be set with the form. Message append body, that is the body of the request. Body, the body, the description of the problem. Message that append. This is going to be kind of fast because you should know all this. Okay, this is basic stuff with React. So if you request me a tutorial about something, I expect you to at least understand some of the things that are going on. And anyways, we have done a ton of things with React. So if you watch those videos, then you should be able to understand what I'm doing. If not, well, I have plenty of videos about how to handle files and how to create applications with React that you can check and then come back to this tutorial. Okay, but here we just appended to this new object. Okay, we just appended the title, body, email, and image. So for the image, you can see that is something different because we're handling a file list. So for from the file list that we receive, we get the first element. We're only going to send one image, so we only need one element, the first element in that array, and from that first element we need to set the name. So we get the name using the file name. So this is how you send files using the form data. Just append that. This is the file and this is the file name. Pretty easy. So method, sorry, this is method like this. This is an object. These are the options for the request. We are going to use fetch. We don't handle, we don't use actions here because let's be honest, if you are going to use another module in order to do something that you can use easily do with a simple API, okay, that you have inside the browser, then you are just being lazy, okay. And sometimes lazy is good, but if you want to understand what the fuck is going on, okay, with the code you are typing, you need to understand how to do it yourselves, okay. So I often get kind of salty because I see people using things like actions to demonstrate something, you know, some pretty small examples that is like, come on dude, you can use fetch, you can also cancel the request with fetch and all that, and but people are too fucking lazy right now. Most tutorials are done just for people to watch and to depend on the next thing that people are going to post. And I see a ton of shit about this tutorial hell, okay, and that is the thing that is happening, okay. The people are uploading information, but they are not showing you all of the things that you are going to use or that you need to use in order to create a real application. And I see people that say, okay, I'm going to tell you how to handle with tutorial hell, but the next tutorials they show is just the same crap that they show you in like 40% of the things that you will need So we'll try to show you everything you need, okay, or at least 85% of the things you need, and the other percent you will just need to research, because there are those 15% is the customizations you are going to use or you are going to need in order to match the understanding you have or you learn with this tutorial into other things. Okay, so you can use this for Angular, for Vue, for anything else. You just need to understand how to send the information, and on those cases you also need to send from data. Okay, so this is how we are using. And also fetch, because fetch is a simple API that the browser delivers us. So right now, after that rant, well, it's just the truth. Okay, if you can handle the facts, then go and check out your continue with your fake learning. That's the way I see things. So if you're not if you don't agree with me, that's fine. I can take all the shit that you want to throw me, so I don't mind. So what is going on here? So we're going to set a new API, okay, with the mailer route, and it's going to be on localhost 4000. So right now we don't have this because the server is not running, is not yet implemented. Okay, so the options are going to be a post. We're going to send a post request, okay, using the method post, and the body of the request, what we're going to find in request.body inside node.js is going to be the from data, that all this object is going to contain the title, body, email, and image file. Okay, so that is what's going on. So right now we're going to handle the response.json, and this is pretty simple to do also with Angular. Okay, because I'm not planning to do anything with Angular about this. Okay, I just doing this because a subscriber told me that he wanted to see this. So shout outs to you, and I will add your name into the title of the video, so don't worry about that. So if you have other things that you want to check out, I will gladly take a look at them. So right now we're going to send a response, okay, but we need to parse the response into JSON, and even though we should be able to, but okay, I remember. This is a blob, okay. This is kind of an object that we need to parse with JSON, okay. So this next response is the parse or is the JSON of the response, and we are going to set the set is busy, sorry, to false, because right now it's set to true, and that means the spinner is showing. And right now we kill the spinner. Okay, we don't need that now, and we're going to catch the response, and we're going to also set is busy to false, because if it's a correct response or if it's a problem, either way we will kill the spinner. Okay, because we don't want that to keep showing. The user is going to think that something is still going on in the background. Console.log, and we just console the error for us to see. Okay, you can handle this however you want. And now we have an else. Okay, just not there, didn't see this one, else. Okay, and the else is going to be only that in line 16, if all these are empty with an empty string, then we just going to console. So let me just copy that. This is just a simple console, and console this. Okay, now that is set. So that is our send message. So this is the end of this. Okay, So that is our send message, the function that we're going to use in order to send the form data to the Node and Express server. I will also add some gratefully shutdown that I saw in a conference that I want to show you some bits and tricks that you can implement. So I want this channel to be more like to show what the rest of the channels are not showing. Okay, I want that. So we will see hosting later and all that. Okay, although hosting is pretty well covered. So what most of the things is not very well covered is how to make applications that are closer to something that you will see in the real world. Okay, so that is what we are going to build. Next year we're going to have other big tutorials, so just wait for that if you want to learn more and if you want to practice all your coding. Next year is going to be packed with a ton of tutorials. We might even have micro front ends and microservices during January or February. Okay, so we will handle that. Now, what we are doing on line 45 and 46, what we are going to do is to create two variables using let. Okay, submit button and loader. Submit button, you should know what this is going to do. Okay, submit button is the button that is going to handle the submit event, the input type submit. Okay, and the loader is the loader that we are going to use. So in this case, we're going to check if it's busy. Okay, is not true. Then we're going to set the submit button to be equals to an input. So let me just copy this. Why I'm using this parenthesis is just to wrap all this so I can add the spacing. Okay, so we're going to have the input type submit with value send email. We will see this in a second or in a few minutes, because we still don't have the render, and we will add some fast CSS just to have that and to finish the video here. So, well, after that, of course. So if not, we're going to handle the submit and we're going to set it to an empty string, so it kinda is going to render, but it's going to be empty. Now, so that will handle the submit. So if busy is false, meaning we haven't sent an email, then we show this, and if we are sending an email, then we remove the input. Now it's busy, we're going to check if that is true, and after that we're going to set the loader to be equals to, again, I'm going to use this so I can add this div that is the loader. Okay, I added that before. Okay, my bad. And div with this LDS dual ring, that is the spinner. Okay, that you can. Okay, I close that. Well, I will show you in a second where you can get these spinners. I showed this before. There's a page called spinners, loader spinners CSS, something like that, or just Google it. And they give you the styles and all that. It's pretty good if you want to have something in development and then create something yourself later. So it's pretty good to have that set without too much implementation. So we're going to check if it's busy, true. Okay, meaning we are sending a request. We set this div to be the spinner, and sending email, please wait, okay, as a paragraph. And if not, we're going to do the same. We'll just set it to an empty string. Now return. So the return is going to render. Okay, this is quite long, so we're going to set a React fragment. Why I don't use the I should be able to use this, but okay, I think that's okay. because before I think you needed to set React fragment here. So we will see if that works. Okay, it's just this is just for I don't know if you want. I was taught that all this about especially a React fragment. If you want to remove the React fragment and just leave the brackets, this thing is perfectly fine. Okay, I don't see the need to do it, so I'm going to copy this. So this is going to be the header or sum to the header. So we're going to set the div and we need to actually close that container. Okay, so this is our application and we're going to set the image that is coming from Unsplash, that is the controller, the PS4 controller. And then let's go to view and word wrap. Okay, so you can see all that. We're going to set the header. All this is not needed. Okay, you actually know how to set all the elements inside React, or you should be able to do this. This is just a fictional thing that we're going to set. We will fix your web issues. Just that. And now, after this, you can wrap this inside a section, or you can just say form, as I did. The form class name is going to be equals. Okay, so I set that outside. That should be inside. Equals create. And on submit, we're going to set or send message. And now I covered this on my other videos, so I'm just going to well, just give me a second. We'll copy this and paste it, and I will have a div class name control, and inside I'm going to set the label, and the label is going to be HTML4 a title. I'm just going to set I'm just going to type this one first. Okay, so you can see how the rest work. Okay, so this is actually the same that you are going to do with the other ones, maybe except for the file input, but it's just a simple fix that we need to do there, just a simple thing that we need to change, and you will see that. So input type text, I always like to say type text, although it's the default, but so this one is going to have the name of title and the ID of title. Okay, for the HTML4 to work. And on change, we handle the on change. And for this to work, we are going to set an event and pass it to a function that is going to be set title. We already have that in the first lines of code. So we're going to use the use state. Remember that the use state returns always two parts: the handler of the state and the state itself. Okay. So on change, set title, and this one is going to be event that target that value, and that's it. Okay, so the rest ones are similar to that. So let's save this, paste it, class control, and you can see we're using the set email, set body, that are the setters that we have inside on these lines 4, 5, 6. We still have this one, but we will add this here. I'm just going to copy and paste it because it's the same. I'm just going to set a paragraph, provide an image of the problem or error is the same class name control, so we can change that with CSS. And I forgot here the ID. Why is not setting that ID image? Let's say ID, because if I'm right, we need to set the ID in order to HTML4 to work. And description. Okay, this one should be called body, but seems that, okay, well, description is fine. And you can see that the only difference here is that since we're going to handle files, remember that this target files is an array. So for from this one, we're going to get only the first, that is this one, okay, the first element inside that file list, and save this. And what I'm going to do now is just to comment this out and show you what this thing looks like. Comment the fetch, because we still don't have that. I just wanted to have that implemented. And let's say form or console.log message. Yep. And I think that should be it, but console.log problem image, so you can see how this is responding. Okay, so we actually need to open git bash. My Windows updated, but I haven't checked the terminal, so that's why I'm still using git bash. So yeah, npm start, in case you were worried about that. Okay, so let's wait for this one, and let's open the browser and http localhost. Of course, we haven't set that. We will set this inside, or because this is not going to render, we haven't added that into our app.js. So in order to do that, let's say import main from, we need to say components and the name of main. So that should be exported. If I'm, nope, that's not exported. So we need to export using export default. So let me just copy that and paste it below here. Export default main, okay, that is the name that we gave to the component. That is, no, it's not here, it's here on line 3. Okay, so right now we should be able to grab that. Let's save that, and let's actually, okay, so I'm just checking. Okay, so main, I set that as capital M. Okay, so let's save this. It's going to open there, and this one can be reached. Okay, let's and you can see we have this controller and the rest of the application. So yeah, let's add a little styling here. So let me just check one thing. Yep, okay, that's working fine. Okay, so I just wanted to see which folder that it was going to open. So it seems that everything is okay. So let's say whatever on body and email. Since we set this to type email, we're going to set it like that. So let's say this one open, and okay, I forgot 2 lines, because you can see that we don't have render, or we are not rendering the submit. So I'm going to copy this, so you can see that we have submit button that is declared inside this button, but it's not being used, and the loader that will be this loader, but it's not being used. So in order to use those inside this, we set just these curly brackets, call submit button, and call loader, just like that. And you can see we have this something made a sound, but I don't know what the fuck was that. Okay, so this choose file, registration take, no, this one because it's a JPG, and send email. And you can see on main.js 27 that is the problem image. You can see how we are handling that. This is a file list and we need to get the first one. So right now inform data, okay, we are not receiving that. Okay, so that is a problem. So we will see that. You should be able to see the information. So constant message. If not, I'm just going to fix that, and so we can have that working on the other video, on the next video. So constant message is equal to form data. Everything is fine there. So to message we append that. Nice. And what if I say options? Options. Just let me see. We need to set an email there. Need to choose this and send email. Okay. So it's showing form data as form data only. Okay, so that is not working. Okay, so that is not showing, but that should work. Everything should be fine. If not, we will fix that. Okay, because right now we need to build the new API that is going to handle the request inside a API mailer, but we need to install a few things in order to get that working. So also we're using loading lazy, and you need to set a width in order to because it's going to say here has no dimensions specified, so you will need to set that if you want this warning to be removed. So that should be it. Okay, so one last thing, this is not a CSS tutorial, so let's save this and we will check this in a second. Don't worry too much about it. For you to, if you want to copy what we have, okay, I didn't add a style for this, so you can add it yourselves, and I will show you the spinner in a second. So the body, the hero, the header, and the header div. The header div h1 before, that is this line here, okay, this one above, okay. The header div paragraph, the form styles, the form input, form text area, label, input, type file. I just set the indent to be 0 because I moved the indent here 20 pixels. So in order to avoid using padding for this to have this width, okay, this space, from label bold, the submit, I had the divider. The divider was, okay, the divider is this actually. So okay, sorry about that. So this is the divider, and this is the divider is just a div that is going to divide these three parts with this, because this is a file. I just thought that it's nice to separate those things. So that's the only thing, and let's save this. and the rings, okay, you can see, but you don't need to copy this. Let me show you. And a CSS spinner, pure CSS loader, and it's this one. You click here, or you can also click here, and this is the HTML you need to set, Mailjet, and this one is being set here. You can see that, and just copy all this and place it inside your CSS or SCSS, whatever you use. So that is the only thing. You can change here the colors, but you can also change the colors with CSS. And yeah, so that's it, and this one is working. So we will see this. Did I unmark that? Did I uncomment? Okay, no. So let's actually see. This should be pretty fast. Okay, so you can see that this is being added and removing the submit. Why is not? Because remember that we're going to set that using the response or error from the fetch. So that's why this is going to keep spinning. So this is all for this. I know it was kind of fast, but you should understand how most of the things are working. And the most important thing is the form, how to handle the files. Don't worry, so that we're appending this into form data for us to send this into the. So I'm going to remove this because the next time we open this is or we use this form is for sending the form data to our API. So that is the first part, and we will continue with the API in the next part.